Alright guys, here we are for Twilight Zone, Season 3, Episode 15. So how'd you like this episode?
It was fine. I don't know. Something about it.
I liked a lot of little parts.
Okay.
But overall, I thought this episode didn't even feel like the twist is kind of weird.
The concept's
so this
weird.
episode is about they're in Vietnam, not Vietnam. They're in they're in World War II
in the
rather.
Pacific
They're
Theater of
fighting
World
in Japan.
War II.
And
Yes. In the Philippines somewhere, fighting or whatever.
yeah, so like they have a bunch of Japanese cornered in a cave, and they're like, all right,
Yeah.
let's just wait them out. The war is almost over. Blah 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 blah. Then they get a new captain who's like, oh no, we push ahead, we killed them.
And he gives a passionate speech about, like, he's like, like the older, grizzled, wise guys are kind of like, listen, like, let's just walk it in, it's fine, like, you don't have to do all this stuff, whatever. And he's like, no, we're going to kill every last one of them. We're going to do it. The Japs.
Yeah, he wants to make a name for himself.
Says Japs a lot. So they have to kill them all. Every last one of them.
So then he gets he drops his binoculars, and when he picks them back up, he's now a Japanese man in the reversed scenario.
He's now Lieutenant Yamori.
Yeah, and it's years earlier.
So here are my problems.
Sure. Here's
all my issues. I'm not good with faces and people and stuff or whatever, so I spent a long time trying to figure out if that was the same actor.
Same
and I'm
actor.
Like, well, I now know it is because I looked it up. But watching it, I'm like, is he doing a great job or a horrible job of sounding Japanese? Did he always look vaguely Japanese? What's going on here?
They
seems
definitely
like,
put some makeup on him, and they combed him out in a little weird way. But
yeah,
he
seems like a perhaps a like half Japanese good actor guy or something, or like vaguely
the guy who played
Asian
his boss, the Asian commander guy.
Yeah.
I hated that guy.
Oh.
I thought everything he said. I'm like, what is he reading them off of cue cards? It just sounded so weird.
The guy with the stereotypically bad teeth.
Yeah.
That had to be like, and then so he says the same things that guy said back to him, and it teaches him that like it's bad to do that or whatever. Yeah, that's
But he didn't even end up getting the problem is the twist. It's not like he came back to then he snaps back to being him in the same position, and he doesn't learn his lesson and go, no, we're not gonna go. It's the war's over, boys. Yay!
So
what?
To hit that really quick, they did specifically call out the date in the beginning, and if you look up that date, that is the date that the Hiroshima bomb went down. So I think had we watched this in the '60s, we might recognize that date more.
I'm sure.
And here, between being ignorant and it being that 2018, we're just like, I don't whatever. Not like 1945. Like the war. It's probably almost over.
Yeah,
I don't know.
It didn't trigger anything with
that
me because I
exact
didn't know
date doesn't matter to me. And so I'm trying to find ways to give them credit or something. I'm like, oh, like binoculars, right? Because it changes his view or something. And I'm like, I hate that. I don't like that at all. It's bad. I don't know.
Really,
right?
for me, it was just the fact that he didn't end up getting to say, you know what?
We're
not going
to
do
this.
You're right. I think it would be foolish about it was the war is over, and I'm like, so he didn't really learn a lesson at all. Maybe he walked away a better person, but it didn't end up changing the actual scenariyo.
They stick him with his first in command is like, don't worry, kid, there'll be more wars and more killing, and then he goes, I hope not, or whatever, right? And they stick him with that, which is like, okay, but yeah, no,
I didn't like it.
There's nothing. So we've been critical
payoff that I would have wanted.
We've been critical, in the past of things where it's like, oh, the coin landed on his edge, so he got powers or whatever. And it's like, well, it's like, hey, it's the most improbable thing to happen, and the universe was just a little out of skew for a few hours. I can kind of buy it or whatever. But the binocular thing, there's nothing to hook into here for me, where it's like, oh, this thing happened or something. No, I don't like the device, the meat of it, or the payoff, or anything. All that I like is short yards 5-0. When the guy was doing the callback for the artillery to explain that it's not working and all that stuff.
I do like the time period. I like the the good actor for me was definitely the grizzled veteran who gives the speech. I like them sitting there and relaxing, do you stand when you talk to blah blah. I'm I guess I do now.
No, that stuff's great. He snatches his gun. This is a filthy piece, officer. Clean your gun when anyone away from me. It's like, oh, it's all that stuff.
Yeah.
That stuff's all good. You just spot Leonard Nimoy in there?
No, I didn't.
I didn't either. I IMDb'd to figure out if it was the same actor, and it obviously is. But then you scroll down, and it's Leonard Nimoy, and they have a picture.
Wow.
One of those soldiers was a young Leonard Nimoy.
Interesting. I didn't pick that up at all.
I assume pre-Star Trek, especially based on whatever.
Yeah,
it's the early '60s, right? So yeah. Yeah, there you
That's
go.
cool.
But yeah,
At
like,
least it wasn't one of the main people, and I'm like, what? I didn't notice that
this
at all.
whole time? We didn't have the ears, you see.
Oh,
And he
those aren't natural.
Wasn't being logical. Well, yeah, but he had them in, surgically,
Gotcha. They're tucked in his helmet.
implanted. Yeah. Elves, boo. The best part of the worst thing. Yeah, so like the second build person is that like George Thorogood, like good old boy, like leader guy, like de facto leader who showed up or whatever. I like the little drop-ins of like, I suggest you flip that helmet around and like take that off and do this because they go for the commanding officer. Like those little touches are always good in like a war situation. I like that. But yeah,
and true.
Yeah. It's awesome, and he feels he has to tell him because he's like coming
He's
in.
green behind the ears, you see.
Yeah. I that's what I mean. Like, I really wanted to like this and be like, oh, it's like doing a thing, but like, no, the device and like what they do, like the minute it starts, I'm like, oh, I bet he's gonna get a new perspective and change his like opinion or something.
Yeah, because he came on so strong that it couldn't have been anything else.
Exactly. So
yeah.
That made it predictable and it made it not interesting. There's no even like twists. The twist is that like, oh, this crazy thing happens. I don't know.
I would have liked a
thumbs down.
I don't know, a twist of like they're in the cave hiding from something else. Like there's something out there.
Oh, and the Americans are just in between the cave and the thing. Yeah, no. I think this probably had more impact to people back then because the idea of like getting into the Japs' mindset or something was so earth-shattering. Like, wait a minute, I was all into it when that guy was being like super over the top and like kill all the bad people. But now when I think about it, the bad people probably think the same thing about us.
Well, that's
my God.
Bad is just your perspective. And it's nice to. I'm sure it actually meant a lot more then because people probably harbored grudges for quite some time after wars. I would imagine
there were people who had like gotten out of the internment camp like 10 years ago or something like that, who were and like So yes, it was a different time. Probably meant more then. But this is a lesson we've been hearing since like
Yeah, for us it means a lot
like
less.
Nothing, right? Everything. Every single thing we've ever seen has been pushing this message of like, oh, maybe the bad guys think they're the good guys, and I'm like, yeah, maybe. I don't know. You think? Yeah.
My favorite one of those is when they when they compare Islamic terrorists to Star Wars, and it's like Luke is just a terrorist. Part of it, they recruit a young boy after he loses his parents to fight a war and blow up. I'm like, holy shit!
He's vulnerable to like the rhetoric of the rebel stuff. No, there was a whole thing. Like,
it really put it. I'm like, shit.
There was a 9/11 thing, like a parallel where like the Death Star was an inside job and all this different stuff. Like, yeah. No, I know. Yeah.
All right, guys, that's kind of our thoughts on this episode of Twilight Zone. I know we went off on a little
terrorism.
bit of a tangent. Yeah. Let us know what you thought about it in the comments below. Don't die in a fire, and we'll see you next time.
Hello, internets. I just love watching JustDaggers. If you've enjoyed this video as much as I have, click that subscribe button. Peace out, homies.